It is time for this week's Common Ground segment. Joining us tonight, Arizona Independent Senator Kyrsten Sinema and Oklahoma Republican Senator James Lankford. Thanks for being here.
It's great to be here.
You are working together on trying to figure out the border situation. Obviously, you're very familiar with it in your home state, but it's really every state that's affected. Title 42 coming to an end. Is there an answer here in the coming days?
Well, there should be an answer. You know, the administration has known for 2 years that the end of Title 42 is coming. It was never intended to be a long-term solution. And James and I together, as the chair and top ranking member of the border subcommittee in the Senate, have been calling on the administration to prepare for the end of Title 42. Unfortunately, Bret, I'm sad to tell you that they haven't done it. They have not prepared for the end of Title 42, which comes in just a week and a half.
So what happens? Like, for all the folks, we've been covering this obviously for a long, long time with folks down there on the border and showing it. But what happens when this thing expires?
So there's about 2 million people a year that are coming illegally across the border. Most of them are crossing the border and then saying, I have fear in my country, which is what the cartels have told them to say. And then they are allowed to be able to come in the country and request an asylum hearing. That asylum hearing, depending on where they request it, will be about 18 years before it's actually settled in the future. And so they're free to go anywhere they want to, work anywhere they want to in the country. It's the pull factor into the country that you know that. To be clear, Title 42 has only turned around about 30% of those folks. So Title 42, when it ends, is kind of the last barrier that's out there.
Here's what the Biden administration is saying. Here's what they're saying.
It is my testimony that the border is secure, and we are working every day and night, to increase its security.
When it comes to illegal migration, you've seen it come down by more than 90%, and that's because of the actions that this president has taken. But we know that more action needs to be taken. So it has to be legislative action. We're going to continue to call Congress to do that.
So obviously the border is not secure. Anyone with eyes can see that. And anyone who lives in a border state like I do, born and raised in Arizona, actually takes offense at comments like that because they're just factually not true. The reality is that border communities in my state are suffering already, and that's before the end of Title 42. Just last week, I held a hearing in our border subcommittee and brought a Republican mayor and a Democratic mayor, both representing small border towns from Arizona, and we just asked them, what is it like every day in your town? And Bret, there are high-speed chases going on through the city of Sierra Vista right now, with young teens driving cars and sometimes being killed or causing the death of others, transporting drugs and other migrants through these communities. It is not secure. It is not safe.
So when you hear the administration sending 1,500 troops down there to the border, what's your response to that?
Well, 1,500 troops should be helpful. Now, I will say, we got that announcement this morning. My team has asked for a briefing. We've got no information about what it's going to look like. But 1,500 bodies is better than not 1,500 bodies. But no one can claim that that is going to be enough. The reality is that we're seeing over 1,000 single male adults come through the Tucson sector every single day. We don't have enough buses to transport those individuals to other parts of the country. We don't have enough holding facilities to keep them incarcerated until a disposition has been made. We don't have the space, the money, or the person power to address this crisis. 1,500 people will help, but we both know it's nowhere near enough.
It's past 72 hours, Chief Raul Ortiz, Chief of U.S. Border Patrol, said 2 agents were assaulted, 22,000 apprehensions, 806 pounds of methamphetamine, 283 pounds of marijuana, 62 pounds of cocaine, 3 firearms, 5 maritime events, 2 sex offenders, 2 tractor-trailer events, 1 convicted murderer, 1 gang member. This is in the past 72 hours.
And that's just a sampling of what they actually interdicted. That's not even close to the thousands of people that are the getaways they get in between. While Border Patrol is engaging in one area to do an arrest, the cartels actually put the real criminal individuals in a different area.
Yeah, so it's like a water balloon. It's like you hit down one spot and they go to someplace else.
It is, and it's a big issue for us, and we are trying to be able to push back and say, be serious about this and actually engage. And when they throw out numbers like they did, 90% of the folks we've had a decline, what they mean is certain countries, the actual number of people crossing the border goes up, but they pull these statistics out and try to convince people, hey, look, it's better. Don't believe your eyes.
Okay, so what needs to happen? You're working together, but what has to happen now. The comprehensive thing has never really transpired up on Capitol Hill.
That's right.
It just hasn't happened.
Right. Well, it's so big that it's hard and unwieldy to get done. But the reality is there are a lot of bipartisan plans that we've been working on with some of our colleagues in the Senate and the House that could actually make a difference. It would be most helpful if the administration would start by actually enforcing the laws that are on the books. That would provide confidence, particularly to Republican members of the House and the Senate, that we could get something done.
Can you do something around the edges that would make a difference?
The edges will make a difference on this. We really do have to. The crux of the issue is the asylum law itself.
That's right.
If we don't control this, if you go into Canada right now, past the United States, illegally cross the border into Canada, they will immediately ask you, did you request asylum in the United States? If you say no, they will turn you around.
And you're leading a bipartisan CODEL
That's
to
right.
the Arizona border at the end of the month.
That's right.
So on the politics side, the administration sometimes is unhappy with you. You're an independent. You're not caucusing with anybody. As you look towards an election, how do you see that?
You know, Bret, I think this is no surprise to Arizonans, and I'm happy to share this with the rest of the country. That's not what I'm thinking about. What I'm thinking about is what it looks like on the ground for my folks in Arizona every day. You know, when I was on the phone earlier today with the folks in Gila Bend, that mayor had to put migrants in his car and drive them to Phoenix in the last couple of years because they were just left in his small town that has one stoplight. So I'm not thinking about an election. What I'm thinking about is the mayor of Gila Bend and how to help him and his community.
Would you say the message to people at home is there are Democrats, independents, Republicans working together?
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know in the media is easy to be able to show two people yelling at each other. It makes for better TV to have one person nodding and one person shaking their head. I get that. But there are people that are serious, that are sitting down and trying to be able to work through, that are bringing real solutions to the administration, saying, here's some ideas that would actually work, that are trying to be able to work together on all aspects of the immigration proposal to say, here are logical, reasonable solutions.
That's what Common Ground has been about. We appreciate you taking the time today.